to Cornelius' house and kings march toward justice point us towards that same truth, that God shows no partiality, and God invites us to live like that matter. And the question before us is not whether division exists. The question is whether we will allow God to expand our vision, to expand our thinking, to expand our compassion and our obedience so that new life can be offered for all. Our passage for today reminds us that the most important change in this story happened to Peter. He walks away with new eyes that see what God had already been doing, eyes that recognize that the lines he once guarded were never drawn by God in the first place. And when Peter finally says, "I truly understand that God shows no partiality," he's not making a theological statement. He's making a faith statement, a confession of faith, one that changes his life, how he leads, how he welcomes, and that confession matters today. Because we live in a time when it is easy to retreat into comfort, to cling to what feels familiar, and to let fear shape our decision. It is easier to protect boundaries rather than to cross them. Easier to remain silent than to risk misunderstanding. Easier to say, "That's not my issue," than to believe that our lives are bound together. Peter obeys the voice of God, not because it was easy, but because it was the right thing to do. And in doing so, the church forever changed. The circle grows wider, and the Spirit moves freely. And baptism becomes a sign not of exclusion, but of abundant grace. That same invitation still stands today. God is still calling the church to see differently, to live courageously, and to speak boldly, to recognize the dignity of every human person as God's beloved child. To trust that when we follow the Spirit's lead, even into uncomfortable places, new life is possible. The work of justice, the work of reconciliation, the work of a beloved community did not end in the first century. And it did not end with the civil rights movement, and it does not end with us today. So the question is simple but not easy. Will we see with God's eyes? Will we follow where God leads? Will we live as if God truly shows no partiality? Because when we do, walls fall, divisions are healed, and grace freely flows. And that is the good news of the gospel. Amen.
Amen.